Hello and welcome back to the Movie Memo Recaps. Today we are going to recap a 2014 movie titled The Outsider. Please be advised that there will be spoilers ahead. The film begins with two men getting out of a car. The driver holds a syringe and instructs the other person to unlock the trunk. As soon as he unlocks it, a girl flees, and the two pursue her. They quickly apprehend her and inject her with the syringe. Then they threw her body off the bridge. The police soon discover the body, and two detectives, Klein and Kennedy, begin their investigations. Klein demands that they identify the girl's relatives, and Kennedy is directed to proceed. Furthermore, Klein is confident that the girl's death was not an isolated incident. Next, we are introduced to Lex Walker, a military contractor. The captain summons him and informs him that his daughter, Samantha, had died. Lex believes this is a mistake and requests authorization to go to Los Angeles. The captain declines, asserting that the mission is still in progress and that his departure would result in him being considered a deserter. Lex looks him in the eyes and tells him to screw off. He returns home and experiences a flashback while staring at a picture of his daughter. Shortly thereafter, he encounters an old friend he had asked to monitor the house. Lex asks him for help selling the house because he needs the money to start a new life. The man agrees to assist him and informs him that he needs to travel to Los Angeles if he wishes to see his daughter's body. He gets the final amount of money in the safe and flies to Los Angeles. Once there, he takes a cab to the morgue to meet with Dr. Holden. The doctor shows Lex the girl's body, and he hesitantly claims that she is not his daughter. He grabs the autopsy report and locates Samantha's address. When he arrives at her location, he discovers a mess inside the house. He finds a photo of his daughter, as well as the house phone, which allows him to learn more about Samantha's employer. He stops at a hotel and plans to conduct a personal inquiry to find out where his daughter is. The next day, he contacts the company and requests to speak with Samantha Walker. The operator confirms that she no longer works there. He walks to the corporate building and says he needs to speak with Shuster, the director. Lex meets with the secretary he spoke with earlier that day and asks about his daughter again, but she ignores him. Then he forcefully goes to Shuster's office, and the secretary attempts to stop him. When the director sees him, he lets him in. Lex inquires about his daughter, but the director responds that he has more than 100 staff, many of whom he has never seen. Lex admits that she called his company a few hours before her death, but Shuster insists that he knows nothing. Nonetheless, the manager admits that life in Los Angeles can be difficult for a young blonde like Samantha. Lex believes something is awry because he hasn't mentioned his daughter's appearance to the director. Shuster informs security to take Lex away. After they descend the steps, Lex says he still has a question, but the security guard informs him he must leave. Following this, a battle breaks out, and he beats up Shuster's guys. Reinforcements soon arrive, leading to Lex's detention. Detectives Klein and Kennedy escort him to the police station and question him. The investigators express their condolences to Lex on the loss of his daughter and encourage him to leave Shuster alone. Lex, on the other hand, feels positive that his daughter is still alive and wants to return to London with her. In addition, he claims that Shuster knows something about the situation but refuses to divulge it. At that point, Kennedy presents Klein with an autopsy report that supports Lex's hypothesis. The body they discovered belonged to another woman who was friends with Samantha. Back at Shuster, he is the one who ordered her death, but the plan failed, and now he wants to find her and finish what he started. To accomplish this, he does not intend to turn Lex in, preferring to use him on his quest to find Samantha. Later, Shuster beats up one of his thugs for starting a fight with Lex in his building, which drew police attention. Finally, he shoots him and instructs the other henchmen to drive the recently deceased man's relatives out of town. Detective Klein informs Lex that the accident victim's pockets contain Samantha's passport and a few credit cards. As Lex examines Samantha's belongings, he notices a receipt from a particular establishment and requests his release. He takes a cab to the Los Carlos pub, but along the way he observes a car following them. He enters the pub and orders a drink. At the same time, he asks the bartender whether he has seen his daughter. The man grows frightened and claims he has never seen her. Lex believes he is lying and resorts to violence to determine whether he has seen her. A brawl breaks out, and Lex effortlessly defeats two men. He grabs everyone's attention in the pub and offers a $10,000 reward to anyone who knows Samantha and can help him find her. As soon as he exits the bar, a woman named Margot follows him and claims she has seen his daughter a few times. Lex pays her the first installment, and she leads him to the location where she last saw her. Soon after they leave, a car begins following them. Margot says she saw Samantha at a prominent nightclub in Hollywood. Margot approaches Ricky, who previously dated Samantha. Ricky flees into a parking lot as Lex pursues him. Lex apprehends him, and Ricky reveals that two men kidnapped Samantha from the disco 2 weeks ago and took her away. At that point, the car that has been following him thus far approaches. A man jumps out of the car, and Lex snatches his gun, murdering all of the henchmen. He returns to Ricky and threatens to kill him if he doesn't give Samantha's location. Ricky claims to know where she is, and they all jump into Margot's car. In the car, Ricky confesses that Shuster runs illegal operations and that his company is really a front. Ricky works alongside him to make ends meet, and Samantha appears to be involved as well. Later, the two investigators arrive at the crime site and, after examining the bodies, conclude that Lex was responsible for their deaths. They decide to learn the identities of the dead and find Lex right away. Meanwhile, the three arrive at their location, and Lex proceeds to knock on the door. When the man refuses to let him in, Lex quickly knocks down the door. He goes inside and begins calling his daughter's name. He fights with the guard, and while he beats him, his daughter emerges from behind him and shoots him with a taser. He collapses to the ground, causing the girl to startle as she realizes it's her father. Later, the two detectives visit Shuster to advise him that Lex is on his heels, believing he is guilty for his daughter's disappearance. The investigators insist on putting cops at his home in case Lex turns up, but Shuster refuses, claiming he has security guards. When the police show him images of the deceased henchmen, Shuster claims he has never seen them. The investigators leave, but they feel something is wrong and plan to seek permission to pursue him. One of Shuster's henchmen approaches him, informing him that the men he ordered to assassinate Lex have died. Shuster summons more guys to help find Samantha and Lex. When Lex awakens, he discovers that Samantha was actually okay, but she wanted to fake her death. The girl adds that Shuster operates online banks and steals information from everyone who signs up on his websites. She previously worked as a programmer for his fictitious company. One day, she detected a flaw in the code, and when she attempted to correct it, she realized what Shuster was up to. Samantha had gathered the necessary evidence to present to the police, but she understood that arresting Shuster would not prevent someone from killing her. So she used fictitious identities to deposit $10 million into those accounts, allowing her to flee the United States. Ricky assisted her with this, and they prepared to flee together. But there was an issue. Within a few days, Shuster would have discovered the theft. Samantha was able to activate the cards after getting detained for drinking and driving, but she did not have enough time to transfer the funds. Shuster had already learned about Samantha's scheme, and the girl had resigned her employment. She later instructed her buddy to meet with Ricky and provide him the files he needed to transfer the money, as only Ricky had access to the corporate facility. Her companion was slain before she could deliver the data to Ricky in time, and the $10 million are now held. Samantha can still retrieve them, but she must gain access to the company's server, which happens to be located at Shuster's mansion. They intend to sneak into that mansion, using Margot as a distraction, because Shuster adores ladies. Nonetheless, Margot is opposed to the proposal, so she accepts the promised $10,000. When she is about to depart, Lex offers her $100,000 to aid them, which she accepts. Meanwhile, the detectives look for proof to arrest Shuster but find none. Lex calls Klein to suggest that they meet and discuss Shuster. Lex reveals to him that the old man is using the company as a front for criminal activities like identity theft. The police struggle to locate Lex's phone and ultimately disconnect the call. Lex asks Samantha to go to London if things don't go as planned. Thanks to Lex's information, the detectives discover how Shuster takes people's identities. Klein reveals that they will search Shuster's home and workplace that day since the main server will allow them to show he is the culprit. In the evening, Lex and the others steal a high-end car to create the impression that Margot was driven by his personal chauffeur. While traveling, Klein catches sight of the car and relays the information to his colleague. The second detective is still attempting to obtain approval from the judge to prosecute Shuster. Upon their arrival, Shuster's security guard hails Margot as she steps out of the car. Samantha and Lex enter the house via the garage. During the procedure, Margot meets Shuster and speaks with him briefly before walking away for a time. Lex and his daughter enter the villain's office to check for server access, and once found, they proceed to the computer. While Samantha conducts the transfer, Lex snatches a bag containing the cash he discovered inside. The signal on the second level alerts the security guards, who then start searching the residence. Margot walks away from Shuster and attempts to distract one of the security guards by spilling her drink on him. She then returns to Shuster, flirts with him, and invites him to stay in the bedroom. Samantha requests 90 more seconds, and Lex steps away to stop the security guards. He murders several and throws one into the pool. Shuster understands Margot is merely there to distract him and holds her captive. When Detective Klein hears gunfire, he asks for backup. Lex continues to cover for Samantha until she has finished downloading the required files. She sends a message to Ricky, who goes to the mansion to drive them away. Lex continues to fight the henchmen and eventually falls into the pool. Shuster opens fire into the pool, killing one of his men. Klein appears and tells the old man to leave the girl. Shuster threatens to kill her, so the detective drops his gun, and the villain shoots him. Lex gets out of the pool, grabs the gun, and murders Shuster. Fortunately, Klein is still alive, thanks to the body armor. The detective takes Lex's gun, wipes off the prints, and then lets him leave. Eventually, Lex and Samantha meet Margot and Ricky. The four decide to take a trip together aboard a private plane. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.